Hello, good people of the interwebs. As you can tell, I'm still up, and for some reason, we have a very serious problem here. The title itself just sells itself. But this is from Kotaku.com, and as I said before, the title sells itself. Why the hell do we keep playing difficult video games? I wondered that myself. I really wondered that myself. It's like when you look. It's like when you go look at a long play. They all purposely put it on the hardest difficulty. Let's go into this, shall we? Because I swear we need to do something about that. I understand why you hate these video games. I really do. I understand why you shake your head as I play them. The truth is, I don't always understand the impulse myself. Why do I want to hurt myself? Why do I choose to put myself through this physical pain and stress? What is the benefit? What is the evolutionary benefit? I will not become more attractive to a potential mate if I get a gold medal on Inferno 4 on Trials Fusion, completing an Onibro run in Dark Souls 2. Onibro or one bro, I don't care. Completing an one bro run in Dark Souls 2 will not help me protect my offspring from predators. On the contrary, there's a far greater chance of me ignoring his cries for help when he slips in the bathtub and gurgles his way to an early funeral if I'm completely engrossed in a video game. Why the hell do I play video games that are so goddamn difficult? Why do I continue to punish myself? On Saturday night, just past, I had friends over to visit. Everyone arrived a little earlier than I expected, and I was midway through Inferno 4, the most difficult Trials Fusion track in the series, already known for its bewildering level of difficulty. I was embroiled in an incredible struggle. One obstacle towards the end of the track was giving me particular difficulty. When my guests arrived, I was sitting at about 150 volts. 15 minutes later, I had run the clock out and was sitting at 400 volts. I had essentially repeated the same 10 meters of virtual track 250 times, failing each time, hitting retry, failing, hitting retry, failing. I had done this before. I did the exact same thing in Dark City Run in Trials Evolution, and the exact same thing with Inferno 2 with Trials HD. Had I been alone, this would have been business as usual, but most likely, I would have started the track from scratch again with a calm exterior. Every cell of my body throbbing with a barely restrained rage. I would have probably given myself hives. But it was different. This time, for a short period, I had an audience. And that audience forced me to look at myself through a slightly different lens, an otherworldly, out-of-body gaming experience. I saw myself through their eyes. What did they think? Watching this old man fail at the exact same obstacle? In the exact same way? 250 times? I must have looked like a rat in a skitter box. This was Mark Sorrell's in his natural habitat. This is how Mark Sorrell spends his spare time. You, sir, are a fucking idiot. On some level, my friend must have understood. Most likely they had played video games themselves. I think everyone understands the impulse to play video games as escapism, as means to learn and practice some useless skill. There are multiple ways to enjoy video games, quote unquote. And I think the layperson tends to understand most of them. But I'm not sure if my friends could grasp what they witnessed. A human being writhing anguish continuously returning to that thing that caused him pain, like a moth butting heads with a 60-watt light bulb. They didn't understand, and when I started to think about it, neither could I. The next day, as I turned on Dark Souls 2, I realized that approximately the last 120 hours of my gaming life had been spent with video games that made me feel the following emotions: frustration, anger, impotence, fear, rage, disappointment. Yeah, that sounds like someone I know. So many negative emotions, but still I came back time after time. As human beings, we have the ability to endure short-term misery for some as yet intangible long-term goal. Take exercise, for example. It fucking hurts to lift weights or run for a decent length of time, but we do it because it helps us get fit or to look more physically attractive to others. Same goes for eating healthily or dieting or stopping smoking. We have the capacity to grit our teeth and endure because the rewards come later. A video game like Trials or Dark Souls doesn't really have the same benefits. And it doesn't necessarily have the rewards we attach to a certain type of game or art either. That idea that we're broadening our horizons or flexing our intellectual muscles. Dark Souls is not a Rubik's Cube. Trials is not Sudoku. The skills you acquire will not be applicable to any other area of your life. But I continue to punish myself, as do hundreds of thousands of others. Why? It's difficult to quantify, difficult to divine. There are a lot of reasons to like games like Trials or Dark Souls. Trials, for example, have pitch-perfect controls, mind-bending track designs. Dark Souls is a brilliant brilliant example of world building. Has an incredible sense of scale and incredibly rewarding combat system. But the difficulty? Why do we do the difficulty? Both of these games would be markedly, I can't even speak, markedly less interesting if they were less difficult. I don't think anyone could possibly deny that. Why? I think the short answer is this. It feels good to be good at something. It feels good to improve. Even if that thing is pointless and has no impact on your social standing or any standing for that matter. There's also the idea of reveling in your own ability to stubbornly persist when others crumble. In that sense, difficult games are a type of mental exercise. Will you continue? Will you give up in the face of this virtual pointless trial? When you continue where others have failed, there is an enormous sense of satisfaction. That sense of satisfaction might be misguided and elitist and ultimately pointless in the grand scheme of anything. But it is intoxicating. Intoxicating enough to be compelling. Compelling enough for you to chase that next high. But it's an empty feeling. A hollow chase. I remember finally getting gold on every single track in Trials Evolutions. I remember that sense of satisfaction. That swell of pride in my chest, even in hindsight. It was quite the achievement. I put the controller down. I felt really good for a second, then nothing. I told my wife, "Hey, I did it!" Barely registered. She was just happy she didn't have to hear the bloody intro song on loop. I leaned back on the couch, looked into space, and thought to myself, well, that's that, I guess. The end. Okay. Now that I've read this article, time for my 2 to 5 cents worth of partially ripping it in shreds and more than likely squeezing the logic juice out of it. Okay. Now, first off, as a gamer, I believe a challenge is good. A challenge is very good. To the point in which, it's going to be a long process. It's like some of the LPs I deal with. It's like that. Some of the games I play as LPs would certainly try me because if it's not the length, it's going to be how much I can keep going with it. That explains why you don't see me play something like, you don't see me do certain games that I'm still doing, because burnout. I tried to do something else to avoid burnout. That's the reason why I don't do Final Fantasy VII like I really should. It's the reason why I don't do Bahamut Lagoon like I should. It's mainly the reason why I kind of stopped playing Super Robot Tyson D because of one thing: burnout. It's not difficult, but it does drag, and I for one don't want my viewers or subs to actually want the same old rigmarole, as it were. Because I know there will be a few people who ask for Final Fantasy VII or Super Robot Tyson D or even Cherry Tree High School. Whatever the game it is, I keep doing it. I just basically just take a deep breath. Even Chronicles of a Dark Lord, Episode 1. I basically had to take a deep breath and just just for a moment, I need to breathe off these games because these games it kind of put a toll on me if I just go, the way I'm going. And, the difficulty rating, that's why I kind of lowered, I lowered the difficulty. If there is a switch for difficulty, I will lower it to the most simplest of difficulties. I don't believe in going as far as hard to very hard to prove what. There's no real proof in me doing that. I play the game just to go through it. Hell for all the little things like cheats and whatnot, as long as I can get through the game. The cheats help me not to lose my cool, not to rage so much, because I can't afford to get angry. That's the reason why I put cheats on it. Or if it's an RPG, it's the reason why I grind as high as I possibly can. So I can not only tank a hit, but I can inflict a lot of damage in kind. It makes sense that way. Another thing is, I don't see myself as the hardcore, I want to beat this game down so bad type. That was me when I was 14 years old. When I was 14 years old, I was once a hardcore gamer. And after that, I grew older and I went casual. Because, if you think about it, why do you want to inflict pain upon yourself? Why do you want to make things difficult for yourself? Why do you want to cause yourself an aneurysm just because you're playing this one game, and this one game just makes you go dead? Now, I'm going to scroll down here for a certain line that I remember reading. It says here, the next day as I turned on Dark Souls 2, I realized that approximately the last 120 hours of my gaming life had been spent with video games that made me feel the following emotions: frustration, anger, impotence, fear, rage, disappointment. There's only one person on YouTube that I know that will go through all Everything that I just said, all these emotions, that's Big Fatty Plus right there. Because he would go through so many games. Some of these games he went through, he basically felt frustrated, angry. He felt rage and fear, but most likely at the end, somewhat disappointed. I don't know about impotence, but there was a whole lot of negativity going on whenever he went through certain games. Therefore, it's like I can understand. I went through so many games in my past. It's ridiculous. I could say for a fact that Final Fantasy X was the one that basically I put so much time into it because I just played it just because I just played it. I didn't play it for an audience. I didn't play it for this. I didn't play it for that. I just played it because I enjoy a good RPG. That's all. Plus the story, if it has a good story to it, I will be hooked to it instantly. Just by that alone, I can be hooked up to the story and just like, wow, it's more like this. It's kind of like with Ys Origins, you know. So you're going up this whole tower the entire time, and you're this close to actually getting to the very end of the game. It's that kind of rush, you know. It's that kind of rush that gets me. It's not the fact that I had to do it 3 times, but it's like you get up here, you finally meet this boss who's about 3 times your size, 4 times the strength, and every which way badass. And you find a chink in the armor, and you work on that chink, and you beat the living shit out of him so bad that his ancestors will feel the pain. And after that, you see the credits roll. You don't care if it's the end or to be continued. You see the credits roll, that's it. You are done. You can listen to the music, you can chill, and you can do whatever you want. But just that kind of feeling, it's exhilarating. All that time that I was doing commentary, I didn't even take a sip of water. Anyway, let's scroll down. Let's scroll down. Something about having quote unquote people watching you. And quote unquote, I have essentially repeated the same 10 meters of virtual track 250 times, failing each time, hitting retry, failing, hitting retry, failing. You know I have done that on Ys Origins because it's like boom, boom, boom. I kept trying to use force. I'm trying to force my way through the entire time just to get through one section, and all because I just want to get a heal spot, a checkpoint, and save and get my upgrades and everything else. Let me tell you something. There's a thing called speed gaming. I'm sorry, but that has to be the most boring thing ever known because you're trying to make a record. And if you're playing, and I think I mentioned this before, but if you're playing a game just to make a record, you're not doing it right. If you're not having fun with the game, if you're not taking your mind off things as you're shooting a breeze, and such like that. Man, let me tell you. I don't care who you are, but if you're not playing the game the way it's meant to be played, whether you're streaming it or otherwise, you're just playing it just to be playing it. It doesn't have to be LP wise either. It just you're just playing a game. You're playing a game for an audience or whatever, and you're just like you're basically trying to break the code, as it were. And when you try to break the code, you're gonna go like lose your goddamn mind. I swear, if I was the type to stream, the stuff I would stream, I don't know. I just be playing it just to be playing it, not just just to do it like speed running. Because yes, I believe there are some games that can be speed run, but other times, where's the point in it? The challenge, you're enjoying a game, but when you go so far as to break a game just to make a record of it, what are you going to get out of it? Seriously, what are you going to get out of it other than accolades? You're not going to get a damn thing because somebody will break that record. Somebody who's just as smart and whatnot can go and beat that record just by a few seconds or maybe a few minutes, depending. The way I have been with video games is simply this. I love playing video games. I'm glad I don't play video games just for just to get paid. If I had done that, I had been a game tester. I mean, if it came to that, I would have been a game tester. I mean, that's the way I would do it. Instead of trying to trying to match up with YouTube and everybody else that's on YouTube or anything like that. Anything like that. I mean, I'm just one guy who's trying to make ends meet, trying to sell off his work, life's legacy, and just be the best I can actually become. In both novel, games, and life itself. That's all I'm trying to do. I just don't see the point in playing difficult video games. Because I give only 2 hours. I would give 2 hours just to play one game, and that's just saying something. Because I'm recording for 2 hours. I'm going through one area, two. I'm going from this area, this area, this area, and I'm looking through walkthroughs as I'm doing this, as I'm going through muscle memory. I said, see, that's the real trick right there. I go through muscle memory on certain games. Other times, I don't need muscle memory. All I need is a good map. All I need is a good map. I'm good to go. Anything considering my commentary, I'll do my best with commentary. That's all there is. I'll just do my best with commentary. Otherwise, I ain't worried about it. Gamers should be more relaxed. Don't treat certain games like it's a life or death situation. That's what's wrong. That's what's wrong with the world of video games as is. I mean, everybody. I mean, look at China or Korea. They play League of Legends as though their lives depended on it, and it's stupid. especially to older people, older older adults. They'll go so far as to throw everything that matters to them just to play League of Legends. And I'm serious. That don't make no sense. Or you want to get, or say you want to get an Xbox 4 or an Xbox 4 and an Xbox One, a PS4 and Xbox One, mind you. I'm partially tired, so forgive me. Yeah. You'll spend your life savings just to get one of those two consoles, and you have to consider, oh, do you have space for it? What kind of games you got to get for it? And the list goes on and on. So you have to use common sense. You can't just say, oh, I want to get this just because somebody else gets it. And then you can't deal with it because, oh, the difficulty just ramped itself up to what the fuck? I will say this. If I play something like Dragon's Dogma or Dragon Age, that itself is a challenge. I like challenge. I don't like playing anything over its its default difficulty. If it's square down the line to where, I wouldn't get one shot just like that once I appear, then yeah, sure, fine. And all I have to do is just start whacking away on people and just knocking them down and, ram my sword through their heart, and, just like, oh, and, that's it. All I do is just do that and say, oh, and, that's it. But aside from that, yeah, I have been watching Blue Exorcist. If you're wondering, like, oh yeah, you see Blue Exorcist, you got too many. Yeah, shut up. If I hear that, it's like you're just petty, dude. You're just petty. It's what I gotta work with on a daily basis. But if I not rip this article a new one, perhaps you can. I want to know what you think about this article. As much as I'm going to be uploading it in a few minutes, then where to go from there, I have no clue. But we will have more crazy articles like this and then some next time on my channel. Until then, I have been the Tenkaichi of Gaming, Pookie7. Wishing you all to have a very good day and a pleasant week. And I'll see you soon with more Let's Plays. Till then, take care, God bless, and of course, Tenkai Muso.